Just last month, before I traveled for my annual leave, there was a massive demolition in the Lekki corridor, Ikota and Mobil Road precisely.
The Lagos Ministry of Environment began pulling down some structures along the drainage paths in Lekki.
The Lagos state government is taking decisive action to clear illegal structures that have posed issues along drainage channels.
These valuable properties will not be spared.
Yes, and I won't wait here. I will take this whole thing down to Ikota River. Heaven will not fall.
It's very painful to watch my house go down. Developers, we can't even see them to even hear from them or know what is going on.
I got a lot of messages on WhatsApp, Instagram, and all other social media platforms from a lot of people asking me why properties was being demolished at a large scale in this axis. Property demolition is nothing new to Lagos and every other city in Nigeria, even the world at large. In 2019, a similar incident occurred where property were being demolished in Ikota and Ilaje precisely.
Hi everyone, I'm at Ikota 1. Ikota 1 is currently being demolished right now by the government, and honestly, I feel pity for the owners of this property here and the land in this axis, because the property here is worth over 20 million naira a plot. But at the end of the day, what has to be done needs to be done. These lands are under government acquisition and people are running. Really scary and terrifying, but the essence of doing this video is just to let you know that failure to do a property search will always lead to property demolition, irrespective of the time, how long you have occupied the land. Government will always come for their land when it is time and when it is due.
I went there, I did the video, and I gave people reasons why they should always check so that they don't experience property demolition. However, the last case of the property demolition in the Lekki corridor is quite different. There are so many unanswered questions, and that is because people are failing to ask the right questions. There were over 3 to 4 estates that were demolished in that axis. A lot of those properties had a certificate of occupancy, some of them governor's consent, and some of them even building approval. So what then necessitated the fact, or what then prompted the government to demolish those properties? Was it because the CFO were not genuine? Because as we speak today, there are people who in the government agencies there in Alausa would give you a CFO or a building approval through the back door. People also sometimes want to go for this kind of document because they appear and they come cheaper. Another reason is, could the developers have overstepped where they necessitated or where they earmarked for their building for them? Is it that they said, okay, your land is just 300 square meter, and then they gave them a CFO and the building approval to build on the 300 square meter, and then they went ahead to build on 400 or 500 square meter. So many things are being done in the real estate industry in Lagos, and it is until you pay attention carefully that you would see or understand what is actually happening. Let me give you a certain example. Just in Abramadesoya, here after Reddington, the road leading to Ogombo, my client had wanted to buy a land in that area some time back. The same property had a CFO, but when I contacted them, when I checked at the Ministry of Urban Planning, the Fourth Mainland Bridge is going to pass on that place. But when you go to that area today, you're going to see massive, gigantic buildings spread all over that place. Is it that they don't know that the Fourth Mainland Bridge will pass in that axis? Or who is now offering, who is now issuing them the CFO in that same axis? When if you go back to the Ministry of Urban Planning, it's going to show you that this area has been earmarked for part of the Fourth Mainland Bridge. Let me give you another scenario. Opposite Total in Abramadesoya, all of those lands, if you check in the Ministry of Urban Planning, it's showing that those places have been earmarked for agric and other purposes, meaning buildings should not be there. So how are they getting a government approval to build on those axes as we speak. With all of this being said, let's come back to the story of the day, the property demolitions in Ikota and Mobil Road. Why was these properties demolished in the first place? The reasons the government gave is because these properties are sitting on a canal. Lately, we've been struggling with a lot of flooding and erosion in Nigeria. Different parts of the country have been witnessing a lot of flooding. If you build a house on a canal, you've actually erupted the waterways, whereby even if the flooding does not occur in that particular environment, it will actually damage another environment because flooding will definitely happen one way or the other. You don't want people losing money because you built on a canal. Sometimes back also, we went to visit a site where property demolition was actually taking place. The reason the government gave for these property demolitions was because they failed to give the necessary setback. It was sitting right in front of those high tension cables. I am not a health professional, but every time we hear that those high tension cables exposes you to the risk of cancer, you don't want to have these deadly diseases because you actually invested your money somewhere. Another good thing you can do for yourself is actually contacting the right brokerage firm to help you acquire your property, to help you invest your money. We understood that most of the properties that were demolished in these axis, those who own these houses were living abroad. So it is very unwise for you to stay abroad, suffer under the snow, send money back home for investment, and then it is not being invested properly. You have to deal with the right brokerage firm. I cannot overemphasize this enough because when you deal with the right brokerage firm, it is our primary responsibility to do the due diligence on that property. Due diligence which you might not even have the time to do. So in my next video, I'll take it upon myself to list all the necessary and most important government agencies that you must visit before you embark on any property purchase or development in Lagos, Nigeria. Until we meet again, my name is Paul Vincent from Menica Properties. Do me a favor by liking and sharing this video, and also endeavor to follow me on all my social media handles. Take care of yourself. Bye.